Tired of doom scrolling? Time for a dose of awesome. 5 Good News Stories is your happy place, where underdogs become champions, crossing guards become legends, and impossible dreams come true. We're serving up 5 fresh reasons to believe in humanity. From world records to cute animal stories, to that guy who turned his pizza shop into a homeless shelter. These are the stories that'll make you go, wait, what? That's amazing! Ready for your good news fix? Follow 5 Good News Stories wherever you get your podcasts, because let's face it, we could all use more awesome in our lives. The number 5 Good News Stories.
It is the world's most secretive election. When a pope dies, ancient traditions begin. A silver hammer, a destroyed ring, over 100 cardinals locked away from the world, choosing the next leader of 1 billion faithful. White smoke. The path to a new pope, from Calaroga Shark Media, wherever you get your podcasts.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. My hat is off to whoever handles the press for the top secret comedy club in the UK. They got worldwide pickup on this one. The headline from The Guardian, one of the UK's leading comedy clubs has banned guests with Botox. Yeah, this made worldwide news. Good job. The top secret comedy club has hosted some of the biggest names in comedy, with star acts Jack Whitehall, Amy Schumer, and Dave Chappelle gracing the stage. In a drastic move, those with Botox will be unable to see similar stars live at the London venues after stand-up acts shared concerns that audience members with frozen faces are not reacting to their jokes. Is this a real thing, comedians? I might have to reach out to some comedians and ask them, is this a real thing that the people have so much Botox that they're not laughing at your jokes and it's affecting your performance? You see, as The Guardian explains, Botox is a neuromodulator, which is a type of injectable that temporarily disrupts the nerve signals to the muscles that prevents them from contracting and producing the appearance of wrinkles. The Guardian further explains the rise in tweakments, particularly among 20-somethings, has risen sharply in recent years, with an estimated 1 million Botox injections carried out in the UK each year. Marc Rothman, the owner of the top secret comedy club, who has just an amazing PR team, kudos to you guys, explained, "Our incredibly talented comedians are fed up with performing to reactionless faces. I've had numerous complaints from performers who find it increasingly challenging to gauge audience engagement and bounce off their reactions. Comedy thrives on connections, and facial expressions play a huge part. We want people to laugh, cry, frown, sneer, but frozen faces from Botox impact the entire atmosphere. We hope trialing this ban will help move the needle and get facial reactions back into the room for the benefit of our comedians and the audience." I had to check to make sure it wasn't the beginning of April. Nope, this came out in March. One of the venue's regular stand-up acts is Andrew Mensah, and he said, "Performing to an audience with frozen faces can be incredibly tough. Comedy's a two-way street. We feed off the energy and reactions of the crowd. Mark and the team are always devising new ideas to support us comedians. This might be his best one yet." Paul Chowdhury, who's going to perform at the club in March, says, "My face barely moves on stage. I wouldn't want to see the same thing staring back at me." So, effective immediately, audience members will be vetted by the door staff. Now, the door staff has been trained to carry out ID checks and expression tests. Rothman warned, "We're dead serious about the ban, and if you're surprised, we need to see that." We're looking forward to welcoming faces old and new that can still move in our venue soon. Well done, PR team. This next item I didn't react well to, and then I thought about it and I calmed the heck down. My initial take was all good things get ruined, and then I thought about it more. Let me tell you what it is. John Mulaney's talk show, which is back on Netflix on Wednesday, is now going to include commercial breaks. For all Netflix subscribers, whether you're subscribed to one of the platform's ad-supported tiers or not. Following the live stream, the ad breaks will be removed for ad-free subscribers, so this is even more of an incentive for me to not stay up late on Wednesday night and just watch it Thursday. The show premieres this Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 West. But I thought about this. Commercials are annoying, etc. However, I've produced a lot of talk radio in my day, And I remember when I was at Sirius and we were commercial-free music, the talk stations had commercials. And among the reasons you have commercials on a talk show, sure, money's great. We like money. I like commercials. I have commercials in this show. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite on that standpoint. But you do, when doing a talk show, it is convenient to have time outs so you can connect with the host or regroup or stop talking for a second. Like right now, honestly, this is the third straight podcast that I'm recording and my voice is already starting to go, but I'm not live. So I have the luxury I can go get vitamin water or something or take a break or finish this up an hour from now. So when you're live, there's that. Maybe a segment goes sideways. Maybe the producer wants to get in your ear. So having breaks does make sense totally to me from that standpoint. So I get it, and they're taking them out of the replays, so it's not a ton of money grab. So I don't think I have a problem with this. So the other things you could do is you could throw it to some pre-recorded thing. I'll just point you towards, on John Oliver's show, the opening segment always crushes, and then they do the "and now" segment for like a minute in the 2-hole. 10 years in, 14 years in, whatever we're in with that show. I've yet to see one of those segments really fly. So could they pre-tape some stuff to give John the timeout? They could. If you've ever listened to a streaming radio station that fills their commercial breaks with features, those are always lame. Sometimes a professional broadcast where it just throws it to a Budweiser commercial, sometimes that actually is the best thing. So I don't really have a problem with this one. I'm excited. Marc Maron has announced a new stand-up comedy special and to be on HBO later this year. Variety says it will consist of material from his All In tour. It'll be filmed in New York City in May. It'll be Maron's 6th stand-up special, 2 years after his latest for HBO, which was From Bleak to Dark, in which Maron discussed the death of his partner Lynn Shelton. No release date, no trailer yet, but looking forward to that. Chronogram spoke to Patton Oswalt. Patton explained where he is right now in terms of working politics into the act. He says, I try to do my version of punching up, which is by focusing on Elon, Trump, Bezos, whoever's letting this crap happen. I've kind of cranked up the absurdity. Things are so dark, it's such an enormous thing to expect a comedian to address, but it's certainly not the whole set. Our current situation is massive, but I also think there are things that are even bigger that aren't being addressed, like the environment and AI. I'm obviously being affected by what's going on, but I also sometimes feel like the MC in Cabaret who's saying, what the hell am I supposed to be doing here? Elon is putting us through all this because he wants to be cool, and he's not cool. He's like the kid whose dad owns the laser tag place and thinks all the kids should like him, but he's obnoxious and mean, so no one wants to hang out with him. A few years ago, Patton got into a Twitter feud with a follower, which Patton resolved by contributing to the man's GoFundMe page. Patton explains, you can see how miserable he was. You're seeing similar things now with a lot of these Trump voters online going, wait, my job is gone, or, oh, he took away my Medicaid. They want someone else to be punished for their pain. They don't realize that the people they're voting for don't care about them. So a lot of times when you see someone being racist or transphobic, it's because they're in a lot of pain. They can't articulate it. They'd rather take power over growth. Growth involves pain. Just siding with the most popular and the most powerful saves you a lot of pain. And they're looking to avoid that. And I don't blame them. Everybody wants to avoid pain. No one's looking out for them. Trump voters are especially being exploited, abused, and used by the powers that be. Donald and Elon could care less about their supporters. They openly despise them, says Patton. And it's become very clear quickly that none of these billionaires give a hoot about these people. So, of course, they're going to lash out. Why wouldn't you? I would. I get it. Send your letters to Patton Oswalt. From Chortle, comedian Harith Iskander has been fined the equivalent of 1,750 British pounds after making a pun about the word ham was deemed to have mocked Islam. The Facebook post was pulled by Meta at the request of Malaysia's communications watchdog. That watchdog also demanded that the account be shut down completely. The comedian had posted a joke on social media about an iced coffee drink called ham something, ham sap being the Cantonese word for lewd, as well as containing the name of a pork product forbidden to Muslims. Harith wrote, I'm so confused. My faith is at risk. This iced coffee drink will lead me down the wrong path in so many ways, not just tempting me to become whatever the offensive term is here. I'm not here to offend, but also confusing me with the word ham in it. Iskander and a woman named Cecilia, who made the same joke online, were each fined 10,000 Malaysian ringgits, which is the equivalent of 6 weeks' average salary in Malaysia. Iskander was named the funniest person in the world in an international competition run by the Laugh Factory in America. Back in 2016, he released a Netflix comedy special called I Told You So in 2018 and regularly tours Asia and Australia. Very interesting. Let's see what's happening at South by Southwest today. Final day of comedy over there. At 4 o'clock, The Street Meet, a comedic celebration of food trucks, grease pits, and sandwich shops. This is Joe DeRosa's thing. I think this is so much fun. He'll be joined by James Adomian. I'll tell you one thing, South by, the talent that they flew down there, they're getting a lot of work out of them. It's the same people doing the same shows over and over, but it's like, hey, you can come, but you're doing 6 shows. Stuart Goldsmith tapes his Comedian podcast again, this time with Pete Lee. I feel like Stuart could have gotten better guests. There were better guests, none against Pete Lee, but there were bigger names to be gotten down there. Doug Loves Movies, they're taping their podcast at 6. Stand Up a Clown, live comedy at the Creek in the Cave at 7. So weird to me. The Creek in the Cave is like the Brooklyn Dodgers of comedy. Like, they used to be in Astoria, and now they're in Austin. Stand Up and Clown, James Adomian. Yeah, we're flying you down. You're doing every show, James. Chad Damiani, Megan Gelly, Christina Catherine Martinez, Mary Neely, Opie Alagbaju, Nick Thune. You've heard me saying the same names over and over. Yeah, you can come, but you're going to work. 8 o'clock, pretty robust for a Monday night at a comedy festival. I said that about Sunday, but Mondays are usually deader than dead. Gotham Comedy presents Lynn Koplitz, Caitlin Palufo, Brian Simpson. No offense to those comedians. I feel like it's missing a bigger name there, especially Gotham is a real good club, and I know the owner. Something's missing there. That just doesn't feel right to me. 9 o'clock, Stand Up Downtown. It's got that AI, I think, generated image of what a comedy audience might look like. Greer Barnes, seeing a lot of him all of a sudden. Drew Dunn, Alex English, Rich Voss. And our final show for the festival is called appropriately The Last Laugh, also with an probably, possibly, maybe, perhaps AI-generated image of what a mostly white comedy audience would look like, and by mostly, I mean white. This lineup, Reggie Conquest. I don't think I've said his name, right? All right, Reggie got in there at the last moment. Pete Lee, Kristen Toomey, and Godfrey. That is the South by Southwest Comedy Festival. How are we doing on time? All right, we can get one more in here today. The Traverse City Comedy Festival announced their 2025 lineup with top comedians and diverse events. The Traverse City Comedy Festival will feature dozens of comedians from across the country and events from improv and roast battles to all-star showcases and stand-up sets. April 10th through the 12th in, of course, Traverse City. Pretty good lineup. You've heard of these people. I don't have to explain who Marc Maron is or Jay Farrow, Natasha Leggero, Josh Blue. That's a pretty impressive top 4 there, Traverse City. Other shows include the Funny Women of a Certain Age, Julia Scotti, Leanne Lord. They're not the Funny Women of a Certain Age. They're their own thing. So Funny Women of a Certain Age, full stop. Also performing, Julia Scotti, Leanne Lord, and I'm just skimming down here, a good 30, 40 names. Most of you won't know any of them, so I'm not going to just read you a list of people you don't know. I'm not dumping on them. I'm just saying they're less famous than Marc Maron. And if you listen all the time, you know that I encourage listeners, if you go to a comedy festival, go see the smaller shows. I love Marc Maron. You know what he's going to do. You can watch Marc Maron on HBO later this year. Go see the smaller shows. That's where the action is at the comedy festival. Events at the festival will include the Daily Dozen Showcase, featuring a dozen comedians on stage telling their best and funniest jokes. Well, I hope they tell their best and funniest jokes at a showcase. Roast Battle, a single elimination roast battle tournament featuring 8 fearless comedians, with judges in the audience determining the winners. Comedy Rumble, a lineup of 30 hilarious comedians, each given a lightning-fast 90 seconds to showcase their comedic talents. So that's interesting because there's a big difference between doing 90 seconds and a tight 5 or an 8 or a 10 or an hour. 90 seconds, again, just listen to Kill Tony. There's plenty of people who can kill for a minute. Can you kill for an hour? But okay, that's fun. And now that I say that out loud, that's probably the inspiration for Comedy Rumble. How about Big Fun Murder, the improv murder mystery in which 6 improvisers act out a completely improvised murder mystery? It's never the same show twice. There's the Clean Comedy Showcase, if that's your thing. If that's not your thing, go see the Dirty Comedy Showcase. Love it. There's also something called the Traverse City Kamikaze Comedy Show. That has me a little bit scared, so I'm going to get out here. That is your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.
It is the world's most secretive election. When a pope dies, ancient traditions begin. A silver hammer, a destroyed ring, over 100 cardinals locked away from the world, choosing the next leader of 1 billion faithful. White Smoke, the path to a new pope, from Calaroga Shark Media, wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're fascinated by UFOs, aliens, ghosts, demons, cryptid creatures like Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and Mothman, then I have the show for you. The Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader. Each week, we investigate different claims of the supernatural and try to shed light into the darkness, bringing you the top guests and experts from around the world. Enter the fray. Then join me, Dave Schrader, your host, as we investigate all aspects and claims of the supernatural and paranormal. Listen on all of your favorite podcast platforms: Good Pods, TuneIn, Pocket Casts, Deezer, Player FM, Amazon Music, Audible, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. The answers to life's biggest questions and miracles and mysteries awaits you. So join me each week, 2 brand new episodes of the best in paranormal podcasting, The Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader.